All right, welcome in to Starting Five on the Five Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and at Five Reasons Sports. Our producer today is Manny Chang. We're here bright and early on a Wednesday morning. We'll get to what we're going to talk about today in a second. First, I want to tell you about a couple great sponsors of the Five Reasons Sports Network. Includes our friends over at U Break Wheel Fix. You can find them at ubreakwheelfix.com. Again, that's with the letter U at the start, ubreakwheelfix.com. It's U-Brake Wheel Fix, powder coating, and wheel repair. You can find them at 1848 Northeast 143rd Street in North Miami. If you ever run over a pothole so hard your steering wheel shakes or you're constantly losing air in your tires, so you need to keep adding air, you got to reach out to U-Brake Wheel Fix. Over 20 years of experience, and again, located in North Miami, U-Brake Wheel Fix offers the quick repairs for damaged wheels, and in most cases can offer free loaner wheels to help you get back on the road or stay on the road while repairing your damaged wheel. They also do the refinishing, so don't just replace them. You can refinish them at times to make them look better. Their in-house wheel refinishing solutions, such as powder coating, machining, and polishing, will give your car the new look that it deserves. So reach out again to Mark and his team, 305-748-0112. You mentioned Five Reasons. You get 5.5% off your next repair. Also sponsored by Prize Picks. Use the code 5 FIVE. Put down $5. They give you 50 to play with right away. That's the new deal using the code 5, and they are legal in the state of Florida. Just put in 5. Of course, you want to play more eventually because get a better chance to win some money. But go to prizepicks.com and use the code 5. So, yeah, I'm sleepy because we're getting up early because the Panthers start training camp today. They're actually starting across the street from me. They're over at Iceplex. And they are in a unique position right now because they have a chance to defend the championship. And not only do they have a chance to defend the championship, but they have a pretty decent chance to actually do it. And if you go back in history and look at some of the teams that have won championships in this market, okay, most of you were not alive. I was barely alive when the Dolphins won their championship in 1973. That was after the 72 season. I was a few months old. And they had a chance to repeat because they brought back most of the same team. NFL wasn't as many teams at the time. And then they repeated the next year. You take a look at what the Marlins did in 97. They had no opportunity to repeat that. 97 team was torn down in 98. The same was kind of true in 03 going into 04. Again, no chance to really repeat. Both teams were gutted before they could build on what they did. The Heat, their championship in 06. They had a chance to do it the next year, but all their guys came back kind of fat and happy, starting with Shaq, Antoine Walker, James Posey. I mean, literally fat and happy, like to the point that Pat Riley suspended both Walker and Posey when they came back, and Shaq ended up not playing a ton of games and sort of working his way out the door, and they got swept by Chicago in the first round. Now, the 12 champions for the Heat, they had a chance to repeat because the big three came back, and of course, not only did they have a good season the next year, they built big time on what they did the previous season and ended up having a 27-game winning streak, winning 66 games and winning the title when Ray Allen bailed them out in Game 6, and then they pulled out Game 7 against San Antonio. So those are the champions that we're talking about in this market. Again, the Dolphins, there's no playoff win since 2000. I always have to keep repeating that. The Panthers have never been in this spot before. The Marlins were not given an opportunity to do it. The Heat were able to do it once, but not the other time. So the Panthers can carve themselves into this market from a legacy perspective in ways that other teams could not. And we know that they lost some players. Tarasenko came in, obviously. He's no longer here. They lost some depth pieces, third and fourth line. But the one thing that that Zito has shown, general manager, of course, Barry Zito. It is early. The one thing that they've shown over and over is that they can find the depth pieces. Zito has found these guys before. Look at what he did with Evan Rodriguez last year. And so they will replace the players in the third and fourth line that were here previously. They were able to keep most of the defense intact. And they have their goaltenders back. And now you have Knight, who could be available after he's gotten through some of the personal issues that he was dealing with, to relieve Bobrovsky at times as well. Barkov, back. Kachuk, back. Reinhardt, back, which was something that we didn't know necessarily was going to happen. Their top 6 forwards are as good as anybody in the league again. They have as much depth, I believe, organizational depth, as any team in the league has. Again, because you don't need the guys who came in to fill huge roles. You just need to be able to plug and play with them on the penalty kill, occasionally on the power play, and occasionally working in with the top 2 lines. If you look at everything for this season in terms of the previews, the Panthers are expected to be a top 3 team in their conference again. Now, hockey is unpredictable. We know that. It comes down in a lot of ways to a hot goaltender. It comes down to how certain guys are playing at that time of the year. It comes down to bad bounces. Unlike the NBA, the best team doesn't always win. Last year, the best team won, though. And so the Panthers come into this with a confidence that they can get this done. And not only can they get it done, but they can get it done after what happened last year, which was they squandered a 3-0 lead to Edmonton and nearly blew the entire thing, but then found a way to rally themselves in Game 7. And as someone who was lucky enough to be there in Game 7, and I know Manny was as well, I never got the feeling they were going to lose that game. And I'm not the best prognosticator about these kind of things, but I never got a feeling they were going to lose that game, because when you were there at Iceplex, which is where we'll all be today, that morning, that team had a quiet confidence that they were going to find a way to rally themselves even after the embarrassment of putting themselves in that position and the possible embarrassment of being the only team to actually blow a lead of that size in that circumstance in team sports, other than what the Yankees against the Red Sox. But again, you weren't even talking about the final series there. You were talking there about the ALCS. You just felt like they were going to come through it, because there is sort of, I don't know, an emotional maturity about this team, which starts with their head coach, Paul Maurice. And his whole thing was, we just need to play one good game. Well, I'm not asking anybody to do anything out of character tonight. Don't try to make the home run play. And when you saw what happened in that game, they didn't. They played a disciplined game. Reinhardt got the big goal. They got the good goaltending. They closed the thing out. But I'm putting this in the context of the total market. We're trying to hype up the Heat because the Heat obviously have come through before. And for instance, we did an episode last night, myself and Alex Salito, which you'll be able to find here on the channel, about how this team in training camp is probably a little bit better. And training camp starts, I guess, in 12 days at this point. This team is a little bit better than I think people are giving them credit for, that maybe their training camp roster is better than the past 2 years. But nobody is really expecting the Heat to go that far this year, because it looks like the Eastern Conference has 6 or 7 teams that have more talent than them, unless the Heat are totally healthy and get a completely motivated Jimmy Butler, which is a roll of the dice at this point. And so probably the Heat are going to be somewhere in that 6 to 8 space again. The Dolphins, unfortunately, the season is cooked. They're going to be playing at least 4 games without Tua. They didn't really protect themselves at the quarterback position. We've done many episodes about that. They'll be fortunate if they get, 2-2 in the next 4 in what was supposed to be the soft spot of the schedule. We don't know when Tua is coming back. We don't know what condition he's going to be in when he comes back. They've already dropped a division game at home, head-to-head game at home, to their primary rival. Is anybody really expecting the Dolphins to go deep into the playoffs at this point? The Marlins, I forgot they were still playing. And then, of course, there's the Canes, who may have the Heisman Trophy winner, but they have more challenging games coming up in their schedule, so we'll see what ends up happening as they go forward. But the Panthers have a chance, along with the Canes at this point, to kind of steal the attention in this town again. Because I'll tell you, as somebody who lives in Broward County, they're doing that to a large degree in East Broward. Like, I've never seen so many people care about hockey in this area as I've cared lately, and it coincided, it folded in perfectly with the opening of the Iceplex. If you go there just on a random Tuesday, there are people in that store. There are people buying Stanley Cup merchandise. You go even all the way, obviously, out to Sunrise from where I'm at, or Pembroke Pines, but especially in the sort of the East Broward area. Like I said, like Flagler Village, which is where I live, Las Olas, etc. There are a lot of people with Panthers hats, Panthers gear, Panthers jerseys, etc. They have a chance to build on all of this. And so the key for them, in my view, because the talent is on the roster, the key for them is just not getting complacent. And I do not think Maurice will allow them to do that this year. So we just wanted to draw attention to the Panthers today. Obviously, we're going to have a ton of Dolphins content here on the channel. Inside Leverage show, I guess today is Wednesday. That will be tonight. Make sure you catch up with Pulse of Fins Nation from last night. Also, Eric Smith's work that he does for the scouting combine of the Dolphins. Plenty of Heat content here on the channel. But we are going to be doing even more Panthers content than last year. We've got our guy, Alex Baumgartner. He's going to be out there with me today. We'll be posting videos here to the channel. And also, Alex has his training camp previews that are going up today and plenty of content that's going to be up on 5reasonsports.com. We just wanted to make it clear, this isn't a Panthers town yet, but they're certainly earning themselves a place in the spotlight. And if they win 2 championships in a row, again, that's something that only the 2 other franchises in this team have done. I know people are going to mention the Canes, obviously, when I'm talking about from a pro perspective. And most were not given even the opportunity. All right, have a good morning, everybody. Again, it's Ethan Skolnick. Thanks to Manny for producing today. Make sure you check out the channel for all the Panthers content. Sign up for Prize Picks using the code 5. Barry Zito. Have a good day.